The Gumption Factor. What I learned from two extraordinary entrepreneurs. While the world makes circuses out of global 500 companies, space fleets, electric cars, and how one person can change the lives of 100,000 others by rationalizing 100 or 200 years worth of, that's the way we've always done it, in the space of 18 months. Today, I want to tell you the story of two women, each of whom, in a world where everything else around them had to be bigger or better, and had to change the lives of as many other people as possible, found a way to do more with not much more than dreams, and borrowed from the two most important ingredients in the world, sheer graft and a customer who feels like the only one on the block. The immigrant who built the furniture empire. Rose Blumkin's rags to riches story has an almost fairy tale quality to it, like most any other American story of an immigrant's success, except for the one small exception, that the refugee from Tsarist Russia, who couldn't speak a word when she first set foot on U.S. soil in 1917, and was handed a card with the words Fort Dodge, Iowa, had beaten a few odds. When she moved to Omaha, Nebraska in 1919, having rejoined the husband she'd left 2 years earlier, it helped that there were any number of other Russian Jews there to make her feel at home. Rose had never gone to school. She started up buying used clothing to peddle, scrimped and saved, and in the way most incomers have, she brought over one sibling at a time, and her parents, until by 1937 she had $2,500, which was serious money in those days, and that she used to buy the goods in Chicago to open a furniture store. Built on graft and a razor-thin margin, the business became a giant. She sold it to Berkshire Hathaway in 1983 for $60 million, working until she was 103 and right up to the very end. From used car salesman to rental car magnate, one is about Kazuo Inamori, the man presently at the head of Kyokura Corporation, Japan's second largest consumer electronics producer. He almost drowned at sea with many others during the war and was only finally rescued. After going to Juku, Japan's modern equivalent to an academy for the gifted, he went on to study at MIT and Harvard Business School. The other is about Jack Taylor, the wartime pilot and founder of Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Born in 1922, Jack saw action over France and Belgium, winning two distinguished flying crosses. After the war, he returned to the Midwest, bounced around a little, and worked on a used cars lot in St. Louis, Missouri. Although he suggested to his boss that they ought to start a car leasing business when he was 35, it wasn't until 2 years later that his business started up again as a new company with just a pair of partners as the only employees. As with Dupre's, fortune had to wait. It wasn't until the age of 40 that the big breakthrough occurred, when he decided to go for it himself by attempting to win over the customer's business directly in the car rental business. His company was called Enterprise Rent-A-Car, named after the aircraft carrier on which he'd served. He based it on what can only be regarded as a guarantee of an impossible quality of service, which in turn meant that he quickly scaled it up in order to take on everyone from Hertz to Avis. Today, his company, Enterprise, is one of the largest in the business. The founder still lives on in the firm, a testimony to his vision and entrepreneurship. Key things a would-be entrepreneur today can learn from these stories. First, have a belief. Rose and Jack both had a belief in their ability to transcend their position. They were a can-do kind of hopeful when it came to the feasibility of a better life. And they had not only given over their time, but a massive amount of energy to thinking through how these things were possible. Second, small beginnings, grand ambitions. Rose started with a $2,500 stake and the hopeful formation of a dream. Jack's micro fleet of 17 vehicles was small as a business. Small is beautiful. It might be the beginning, but it shouldn't be thought of as handicapping the size of your ambitions. Third, customer satisfaction. Both rose to power on the coattails of customer satisfaction. Rose's chief differentiator was to found her business on a razor-thin margin. Jack's charisma was with his staff as well as his customers. Fourth, the long journey begins with a single step. It doesn't happen overnight. Rose saved for 20 years and learned her trade before her store. Jack didn't get the big break until he was 40, some years after he'd been bouncing around. Fifth, tenacity. Jack changed the motor vehicle business because he still believed in the market, even if he hadn't worked out the business model. Just as with a difficult child, the key test is being able to recognize where a valuable, if unforeseen, pivot into a lucrative terrain is possible, and the essential talent is having learnt how to fail fast. Entrepreneurs have questions, readily inquiry minds, need to be fostered with some regular feedback about the answerability of their ideas, and have the courage to tweet and trot their idea again and again until something keeps popping through the surface and sticks, and they know they have it right. Rose Blumkin and Jack Taylor showed us that the best things in business often come from the simplest of originals. Hard work, the onerous but never downhearted scrabble to make your customer happy, and the fortitude to follow your own beat and see where it takes you. Those are ideas that don't go out of fashion easily and can always help anyone gravitating in the direction of founding a business they can be proud of and of service to. Their stories also remind us that the best is always yet to come for dreamers with gumption who are motivated to work for it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more interesting facts.